Broadcasting live from the mixed-up world of Hyrule, this is the Link to the Past Randomizer League. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Bobtastic, and joining me today on commentary is Wolfling0370. How you doing?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm doing pretty good. So today we have a mystery seed for you here in Week 4 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. We have the Light World Converse Hyrule Castle Division match here between Guardians of the Galaxy Brain versus Spaceballs, the random team. RickyofKokiri representing Guardians of the Galaxy Brain, and PhantomRyu who representing Spaceballs.
So I'm not going to lie, this may be the greatest matchup between team names of all time.
Pretty
no
much.
joke.
This is actually their first race of the week. Game 2 will be following later today, in fact, actually.
That is what I saw. I believe they're playing at 9 p.m. Eastern.
So, Mystery Seed. We don't know the settings at all, but based on what we have seen here, we can do some observations. First off, we don't see the Randomizer tag on the file select, and we see that we have a sword. So, at the very least, there is no boss shuffle, no enemy shuffle, and we start with a sword.
Yeah, and based on a little reconnaissance I did beforehand, it does look like we're not dealing with an inverted seed.
Because you
based
the
on the because of the intro card, I went back and watched the VOD for one of our runners' streams just to see the intro scroll, and it says, Link awakes to the uncle leaving the house. That means you're not in inverted. If you are in inverted, it'll say Link somehow got transported to the dark world while he was asleep. But other than that, we are pretty much up in the air. We don't know if it's a pedestal goal. Could be anywhere from 3 to 7 crystal Ganon, and it could be fast or not Ganon, or not fast Ganon. We do not know.
We don't even know if it's key sanity. The item pool will maybe set to hard or expert. Item functionality will be retained as normal, though. That is something that is constant throughout all the mystery seeds. So boomerangs will work, hook shots will work, and the enemy's health and damage. If it is set shuffled enemies, stays the same. As we get started here, we have an open start.
So open with a piece of heart, and exiting from Link's house does not tell you whether it's entrance or not.
This will, though.
Sanctuary might tell us that too. Though there is a chance of Sanctuary being vanilla in entrance.
That's true, because it's shared. There's give drop downs. PhantomRyu going for an Uncle start. It is Uncle. That means it is not entrance.
Yeah, it's a pretty low chance of entrance at this point, yeah. I wouldn't completely rule it out, but yeah, we're just gonna assume that. And Uncle has a lamp for us today.
Some free bombs for RickyofKokiri as he heads over to check. Oh, okay, yeah, checking Agate. Let's go. And we do not have an Aghanim seed, at least for accessing Lumberjack. We may need it for Dark World access later. And PhantomRyu taking that sword that we started with, and is going to go straight into the back of Escape.
Yeah, I like the Uncle play a lot better when you do have a weapon, meaning that it's fairly functional to get down to the Escape.
Now, one thing we haven't seen yet is a map check, and that can be very telling. Because if we don't see crystals on the overworld map, we're dealing with some form of key sanity.
Ricky gets a veritable treasure trove of cash in the Lost Woods. That'll be nice for buying whatever you might need there in Kakariko Village, especially that 100 rupee bottle vendor item.
Guards are very generous with their bomb drops.
Sword only needs the uncle to be activated in standard start. But it is just possible you can forget you have a sword to start with.
That is also true. And there we go. We found the flippers here in Blind's hideout.
I see.
And what
half
happened-
magic does not rule out expert.
I believe it.
No, they got rid of that.
They did?
Yeah. I know this because I played a seed that was like expert, ridiculous, key sanity, dumb.
Well, there's our flute. The Master Sword.
Okay.
Master Sword lamp. May have an Agaseed.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a possibility. We haven't seen any keys or maps or anything like that, so I'm, doubtful that this is any sort of key sanity.
Well, we haven't seen a map check yet. Map
Yeah,
at
I
Desert
should
Palace. We are in fact dealing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I should definitely look at that. I wasn't looking at the menu. There is a tell on the menu.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's map compass and small key shuffle. It looks like.
Well, that's all we know for the time being. And
'Cause there's
Desert is a crystal.
Because there's a tracking portion on the menu for the small keys, but not the big keys.
Ah. So we got a relative. So I wish we get the mirror there. That for those who have not seen a map compass small key shuffle, it's basically going to play out like Key Sandy is, but the big keys are not going to be in basically a giant ice heart hunt for them. They'll be in their dungeons still.
So you get the, a little bit more assurance, like, you get the bow, you can beat Eastern, things like that.
Conversely, if you get the hammer and the bow for Pod, you may not be able to finish it because you don't know where all those 6 small keys are. On the flip side, that does mean there's at least 6 more items in Pod.
That is true. So, a good old Key Sanity-ish property there, giving a lot more value to those dungeons.
So it's map compass small, open sword.
The only really remaining thing we need to know about this particular seed is, of course, the actual goal.
Yeah, and then there's a few things like the crystals we need, and then a few niche things like is this a normal item pull, is this a hard item pull, and accessibility. I think doesn't really matter in this because with the Key Sandy Shuffle, it might as well just be all locations reachable, or as we call it, 100% locations.
Yeah. Key stirred. Kind of like it.
And then our tracker help.
Big key and Skullwood's big key.
Yeah.
Basically. Well, it is looking kind of Aga 1, except, again, it appears to be the small key shuffle, so, I mean, you start walking up Aga Tower, and the first chest you get is not a key. You're like, oh, what do I do? Alright, so PhantomRyu activates the flute.
And Ricky is heading over to the dam. Very valuable techniques, like giving us a lot of overall. Heck, we can even go up to and full clear Tower of Hera with based on what we have.
Yeah. Mirror giving us access to Tower of Hera. And that lamp. Of course, the only thing that might not be available is that basement, but there is a moon pearl at the sunken treasure location for RickyofKokiri.
Yep, moon pearl for Ricky, which means we now have logical Dark World access through Aghanim. Let's hope it's not the only way to get to Dark World. Now, Ricky is in a little bit of a bad way here, but does find a few more bombs. Could not miss if he was to check Ice Rod Cave or something like that.
Well, it appears to, at the very least, it appears to be small key shuffle because there is a location on the menu to indicate small keys. And we just haven't found any yet.
Yeah, we at the very least know it's map coverage trouble because we have already found some maps. The map of the desert being one of them, which is a crystal. But yeah, no small keys does mean that maybe it's just there as a leftover from Key Sandy. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll see if it is actually small key shuffle. But yeah, you do see it there in the sort of the key bag override that we have for Key Sandy modes. Alright, Ricky's gonna be checking Waterfall Cave here now. PhantomRyu is hot on his trail though, collecting the items in Mini Moldern Cave. There's a small key. It's to Misery Mire.
It's basically the most worthless small key that exists.
Yeah, it helps. All those small keys in Mire do is convenience. Now, of course, with Key Sandy, we should mention that there is something called key logic. And the game expects you to have a certain amount of small keys to make sure all the tricks are available. There's a fire rod for us as well.
Burn-a-nation time, indeed.
But at the very basic way to describe a key logic is, what is the worst way? Think of the worst possible way you could ever use your keys in a scene ever. That's what the scene is. That's what the key logic will always assume.
And our Zora has the Altry implement for the day. Or at least one of them.
Yeah, and with Fire Rod as well, that does open up the Moth, and we don't need... Well, we need a small key for the Moth, but there's a small key in a pot in the backside. And then there's another one on the guild on the way. So yeah, wouldn't need it. There wouldn't be much issues going to pod here. But we're running out of checks already. We might be item starved into an Agassi here.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see, say, an Aghanim 1 required, or rather, like, the first chest in Aga 1 being required. Because again, with small keys
you're right.
shuffle,
That does add another wrinkle to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now, again, we've still got Tower of Hera that we can access.
That is also true.
And some
so
other
yeah,
shenanigans.
Aga's. Even though we have everything we need for Aghanim, folks, I forgot about the small keys.
But yeah, also that that bow that Ricky just picked up means that I would be completely unsurprised to see full clears of Eastern here.
Yeah, full clears of the Eastern area. And also a nicety in Matt Kovashov and Kisani is talking to Sahasrahla is actually viable. And that is because Sahasrahla will tell you where the green pendant is. And even though you don't have the map for that dungeon, maybe, it will be added to your map for future reference. Same applies to the 5-6 crystals at the bomb shop. The vendor will tell you where they are. Alright, PhantomRyu paying King Zoro. Getting his bow now. Overall, the seed is shaping out to be quite a nicety. Small key shovels does throw a small wrinkle in it, but knowing the big keys are still in their dungeons is a bit of a relief.
And that's why Eastern. That's why Eastern is seems like the best play in my head anyway.
Well, now that we have the lamp, I'm inclined to agree with you for both runners. At the same time, also that's another tell that it's not big key shovel right there, because we got no text box there, I believe, and they would say you got a big key for this dungeon if that was big key shuffle as well, even though that big key is always dropped there. Alright, PhantomRyu gonna go talk to Sahasrahla. Our green pendant today is in Eastern!
Well, there we go. So not only will you get to talk to Sahasrahla to find out what it is, but you'll get to come back afterward and get the item.
Half a Thief's as well. And the small key to Desert Palace. Only one of those out there. And that actually brings up another point here. We do not have the ability to enter Swamp Palace. We need the hammer, we need the hookshot, and we need the small key that's always at the start of the dungeon.
Yep, so there is that one awful thing. Oh, interesting. PhantomRyu not going to Eastern, having found out that it's a pendant.
Pendant, yeah. But he does have that information, as I just mentioned as well, so he can use his map for future reference. And Ricky checking Aga's tower, only finding 20 rupees, cannot ascend, so Aghanim is not on the table for the time being. But I do like what PhantomRyu is doing here, actually. He's going on the mountain hoping a glove is up here, and then when he's done, he can flute to 5, and then take the shortcut path all the way up to Eastern. And the glove would also open up a few more checks on the overworld as well.
We see a small key on the island as well.
Small key on top of Spectacle Rock. Inside Spectacle Rock, on the other hand, we have 10 arrows. Good read there, PhantomRyu, not blind checking that. Saves him a bit of time.
Yeah, there was a time when blind checking that was a pretty strong thing, but that was back when hints were a big deal.
These down?
Looks like our thief town is a crystal. Sorry, I just literally just walked right over you there.
That's fine. Now here's the other thing. As we get the small key to Hyrule Castle.
That puts back of escape in logic.
It does. But here's the thing. It may be valuable to do Eastern here. Because we have two different goals that relate to requiring pendant clears. We have a pedestal goal, and we have potentially an all dungeons goal. As two potential options here in weights. In our weighted seeds. And that's actually something I haven't mentioned yet. These are, in fact, weighted mystery seeds. If you go ahead and type !mystery in chat, you'll get a link to see all the weights here on the Twitch side. If you're watching this on YouTube, ALTTPR.com/rules/weights for you to see them as well if you're playing along at home.
Alright, so, PhantomRyu finds the big key of Hera in the map chest, so does not have to head down to its vanilla location. Thank goodness.
Kokiri heading over to Eastern Palace. 5 items here to collect. Remember, we still have a boss key that's not shuffled, so that takes only 2 items. Gives the dungeon plus 2 items. For removing the map and compass.
Well, there's a compass, but it's the wrong compass.
And that's actually something we haven't covered yet. Now that I think about it, Dr. Bob.
What was that?
What? We haven't covered what the maps and compasses do in a Key Sandy scene.
Yeah. Well, the maps give you that wonderful ho, hang on just a minute.
That's a hammer.
Which unlocks the right side of, or the east side of Death Mountain. That's the Paradox Cave area. So big find for PhantomRyu here.
Yes, now getting back to what we were saying with the maps compass shuffle. Maps, as you've already seen, they're providing us information on our overall map so we know which dungeons are pendant or crystal. Compasses have a slightly weaker function, but it can still be helpful for someone not experienced with it. They'll tell you how many items are left in the dungeon and how many of those checks you have done. So, for example, a compass reaching Palace, if we didn't pick up anything there with a 0-6, we open up the first chest and say 1-6, and so on. And that counter will appear below the rupee counter.
So interestingly enough, we have map and compass shuffle, and so there's not guaranteed to be a map and compass in these dungeons, but Tower of Hera had both a map and compass for the same dungeon. Just not that one.
That is actually kind of hilarious.
Alright, so PhantomRyu, of course, is going to take that hammer to the east side and put it to good use. We're going to get a check on Spiral Cave, which is, you know, not terribly fun without a hammer, but you do what you do. And then finally, you get to Paradox Cave. 7 whole chests over here on the right side of Death Mountain.
Indeed. Lots of value here on Death Mountain. This is the most item-dense location in the game. And that's just for Light World. Dark World, there's even more. And there's one of our small keys to Palace of Darkness.
Yep, so there's a grand total of 6 of those, and if you're careful and have the right items, it is possible to beat Palace of Darkness with only, or to full clear Palace of Darkness with only 4 small keys.
Yes. With the hammer toe, though, a logical full clear would be 5, but we're randomizer runners. We know a trick known as the hammer yum. We'll get to that hopefully a little bit later. So far, Paradox Gate being fairly tame. And that's, I suppose, that's one of the things we should mention here. When we say the small keys are shuffled, only the small keys in chests are shuffled. Any keys that are in their pots on enemies, they do not get shuffled at all, as you saw just now with the Igors here in Eastern.
The Tower of Hera small key.
And the compass!
Okay. There we go.
And a small key to Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, you definitely want to find one of those. Potentially more, depending on how annoying it is to find the big key.
Which we may not even need to see. We have yet to go to the Dark World. Our balls, 20 rubies obtained, and the green pendant has been collected by RickyofKokiri. We'll see if that comes into play later as part of our goal.
And PhantomRyu is going to go ahead and return to Tower of Hera to deal with that small key. Which, I mean, if there's going to be a time you're going to do that, this is the time you want it to be. You either want to do it right now or never.
And I wholeheartedly agree with this play, because if it's an item, you're going to be wasting a lot of time to climb back up this mountain, so it saves time in the long run. Eastern had pretty much nothing. Not even the green pendant was worth much.
Yeah, so that was a really heads-up play for PhantomRyu there to just kind of nope out of there with that pendant. Now, again, we don't know if it's a crystal goal or a all dungeons goal or a pendant or a pedestal goal, so you don't know for sure, but
there is a way to know for sure, though. And
yeah.
We should probably mention that. You've probably seen it if you've been playing 31, is that there's signposts on the pyramid and next to Ganon's Tower. The one next to Ganon's Tower tells you how many crystals need to enter Ganon's Tower, and that can be up to from 3 to 7 here in our city settings. The one on the pyramid, though, is the more important one here. That gives you a clue as to what the goal is. And if it mentions that you have to beat all of the dungeons, all the bosses, it is a all dungeon seed. If it tells you that it's pedestal, you need to go to pedestal, it will tell you need to go to pedestal. And then if it's defeat Ganon, it will tell you how many crystals you need to defeat Ganon.
Well, I heard you like fetch quests.
We just have the mushroom.
We put a fetch quest in your fetch quest so you could fetch quest while you fetch quest. The mushroom was sitting there on the Tower of Hera vanilla big key chest. So now we're going to go turn that in, see what that gives us.
And just a raw turn-in, so won't be able to save this for magic powder later if that's needed. Which it never is, but a little bit of item efficiency. It does turn to 3 bombs, so that was a dud.
Alright, so I am quite interested in seeing what's in the back of Escape now that we've got that Hyrule Castle small key.
And one other thing I almost did not mention was, if it's fast Ganon in our settings right now, with the way the world state is, the pyramid will just have a giant hole in the top of it. So we'll know if it's defeat Ganon or fast Ganon just from looking at the pyramid.
Right. The only time it won't be like that is if we rolled an entrance seed, but we did not roll an entrance seed here today.
That is correct. And that is because with an entrance sheet, the drop-downs are shuffled, so Ganon can appear in the grave for all we know, or can appear in Kakariko Well.
Really, Kakariko Well, yeah. Just like, I'm just gonna get these 5 items, I'm dead.
The only drop-downs that are pseudo-shuffled, we'll say, is Skull Woods in that case, and that's because the because of how the network of caves and drop-downs work in there, pretty much Skull Woods stays in Skull Woods, but the entrance gets scrambled amongst themselves.
Right.
With the exception, of course, is the path to Maw.
I do love me some entrance, and let me tell you, if you're really interested in entrance, you need to check out next week.
Oh yeah.
Next week is all entrance all the time.
With some key standing on top of it.
Alright, Ricky gets that hammer as well, so we're getting a pretty close race here, I'd say.
Yeah, we're about to see back of escape here. This is the only thing that could potentially lead us anywhere, and at this point, it's got to be a glove or something else that would give us progression. The book, maybe. The shovel. It's very limited in what it can be.
We did already check the one chest in Naga Tower that we can check.
What a kick in the face would it be if both the castle tower keys were over here?
Well, that would just be dumb, and I would love it.
But no, let's be real. It's probably not going to be the glove. Ricky taking
Glove
a fall
is the
to
most
Boulder.
likely. Book could be a thing. Green Pendant was Eastern Palace, and it was turned in for a piece of heart.
Uh-oh.
Oh, come on. What have you done?
Okay.
Okay.
But there's still an item that's not behind that small key, so for all we know, the second small key could be
Yeah.
vanilla. But
I was going to say, if
that's our
I were
powerful
PhantomRyu,
access.
I would actually go for the two chests in Naga Tower here, just because it's relatively convenient.
Gonna know about instead? Ricky getting the crystal out of here. We actually did not know that was a crystal, so... I believe. At least until we grabbed it.
I mean, PhantomRyu got it as well, but yeah.
Alright. If I was
Alright.
PhantomRyu, this would be me checking Hype Cave, because why not? And going straight to Pyramid. Map check here. Skullwoods is a 5/6 crystal. Thieves Town, Palace of Darkness, also crystals.
Yeah, it looked like Ice Palace was a pendant, unless my brain is playing tricks on me.
I didn't see it, and
Okay,
PhantomRyu is going west.
I'm thinking weird. Interesting. This is a play I've seen before, especially with that mirror. You can go ahead and check the digging game. You can check K45. Head over and check Stumpy as well. I'm probably seeing things. My brain just really wanted Ice Palace to be a pendant, I guess.
I think Ricky has the map to Ice Palace. And he found that in Eastern, which PhantomRyu has not done.
I believe we just found another GT small key. Maybe that was Turtle Rock. I can't remember what it was. For 2 seconds. Like I read...
Actually, of course, we have Ibot here in chat.
There's
That's our
GT.
tracker tonight. He'll keep those items up to date for us, and more importantly, keep us honest up here in the booth. Thank you for tracking for us tonight.
It says, if we end up needing to go to Ganon's Tower, we will need some non-trivial number of those small keys. Usually you can make do with 2. If you're careful.
We do not know the goal yet. PhantomRyu, despite being the first to Dark World, has not, in fact, checked the pyramid. Instead, opted to go west.
Yeah, I imagine he'll be heading back east after doing this digging game. Because he's still got to do Hype Cave and then head up, I imagine.
I think if I counted quickly there, it was 23 digs for that heartbeat, so definitely on the lower end of convenience there.
Yeah. A lot of time for not a great reward. Okay, so PhantomRyu finally heading back to the swamp area. Gonna go ahead and check the Hype Cave. there is a play that PhantomRyu could decide to make, and that is to check the very first chest in Swamp. I don't think anyone's going to do that.
No. In the off chance that it's a vanilla small key, it's very rare. High Cave gives us 20 rupees. Another 20. The Titan's Mitts.
There we go.
Information about Hyrule Castle, which is absolutely useless. And another small key to Ganon's Tower.
Okay, we are pretty much golden on GT small keys now, no matter what we need.
And he's going south.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and get the small key off of the island, I think. Or maybe he'll just go the other way, but...
Yeah, he's got the hammer out. He's going to the pyramid.
Alright, so the moment of truth is coming. The goal for this seed will be revealed as soon as PhantomRyu reaches this sign over here.
Alright, we'll see about what we got here. Pyramid. All dungeons.
Okay. So a little bit,
all the dungeons.
A little bit of an advantage to Ricky there, having already completed Eastern Palace.
So GT crystals do matter here because progression for pendant dungeons could be in Ganon's Tower.
Yep. And of course, we actually have to beat Agate 2 as part of this.
Yes, and Aghanim 1.
Yep. So that second Agate Tower small key is going to be a necessary item as well.
Indeed.
Well, strap in, folks.
This is gonna be a long one, Dr. Bob. I hope you got something on hand.
The caffeine is ready. Let's go. Mr. Catfish today, giving us a thing, specifically a bombs.
Now we're up to 10 hearts here, so I can safely call it that we are not in an expert item pool now. Because I believe the heart containers and pieces are get cut down to the point where you can only have a maximum of 9.
I think it's 8.
8 even. Ooh.
Yeah. You get 2 full hearts, 8 heart pieces, and then the Sank heart.
Now, it can still be hard. And with item functionality being normalized, you can't use the cane or the cape to check. Because those would have, I believe, a double magic drain on heart, yes? If it was
if it were hard item functionality, yes. Now, interestingly enough, just throwing this out there, the silver arrows. So, in, say, hard item pool, they exist. But you can't use them until Ganon. And that's tied to the item pool, not the functionality. It's very strange. But like, I did an expert one the other day where it was swordless. And so the silvers had to be available, and they were, but I still couldn't use them, even though it was normal functionality. Speaking of silvers, PhantomRyu just picked them up. And he does have them available.
Normal, I believe. I believe that puts it on normal.
That appears to be correct.
because maximum bow level, we can only have silver on normal. I just actually checked the item pool differences. And yeah, magic does not tell here according to the item pool little changes. So, good call on that. So with that, we pretty much know everything we need about this seed. Except for one thing, which will come into play a little bit later. So to give everyone a recap of what we've got here, we have an open world state. It is an all dungeons goal. No. It is a map compass small key shuffle. So it's basically key sandy, but only the small keys. Accessibility, we're going to pursue 100% locations because it's going to be near impossible to tell if this is 100% inventory or 100% locations. It's a 90% weight to 100% inventory, but that really doesn't matter here. Item pool is normal, swords are assured, no entrance, no enemy shuffle, which means no boss shuffle as well.
Another pod key accessed for PhantomRyu. So, Palace of Darkness getting more and more imminently clearable.
And there's our hookshot there in Skull Woods.
Woo!
Another great find. That does put all of Swampton logic, with one exception.
Yeah, just need that small key is all.
And no, I did not forget about it. I actually was leading up to that on purpose.
So yeah, you have all the items you need to clear Swamp, just not the unlocking mechanism.
That's right. And I believe that is one of the most common trip points if you're ever playing Cassandra for the first time, is you forget you're so used to that first chest just being a small key so you can go to the rest of the dungeon that you forget that it can be shuffled in this mode.
Now, of course, worst thing ever is when that is actually shuffled vanilla. And the funny thing is, when they first made Key Sanity, there was a bug in the algorithm that actually made it vanilla roughly 10% of the time. And so it was just like the worst almost all the time. Like, way more than it should have been. Alright, PhantomRyu is going to head to the back of Skull Woods. Going to face off against Mothula. And Ricky is going to head to the Dark World as well, so we'll probably be doing some of the same things that PhantomRyu is doing. Oh,
now,
changed his mind. I think he might be doing some mushroom.
Now here's something interesting we could do. And granted, it is a waste of time in the short term, but it could be a time saver in the long term. We can go up to Ganon's Tower. And while we can't enter it, we can check the sign to see how many crystals we need to know when the earliest that is available.
Yeah, I would be reluctant to go up there until I had at least 3 crystals, just to give me a chance of being able to do it. Because the minimum number of crystals you can have for GT or for beating Ganon is 3 in these weights.
That is true. The other reason I'd say to go out there is also to check the items in Hookshot Cave and Super Money Cave, which is more valuable to Ryu at the moment because he has the Hookshot. Ricky will be getting it shortly, of course, being in the Skull Woods area as well.
Dark Death Mountain is quite a item-rich location anyway, so that is certainly worth it.
Yeah. So if you're up there checking Dark World item locations, I say check the medallion for Turtle Rock as well as check the sign at Ganon's Tower while you're there. And then you can make the transition with the Cane of Berna to go check Spike Cave while you're at it.
It's a pretty solid route. Alright, PhantomRyu is going to check the bridge chest, just some bombs there, and that's going to do it for the Skull Woods item complement. It's going to mirror and flute. It might be a little bit faster to head to the portal from 6, or he's just going to go to Dark World like you were, or to Dark Death Mountain like you were talking about. That is a pretty solid play with that hook shot.
Yeah, getting information at this point is going to be critical for routing purposes. Because there's something to note here, and the reason why I'm mainly thinking check the GT thing, is the earlier that GT is open, the more likely that small keys are in there for the other dungeons.
Yeah, that is true. Of course, you could have like the swamp key in there and other wonderful shenanigans. So, definitely worth checking out.
Nice block there from PhantomRyu. Gets it done. Ricky opted to go to the back first, so does not have the hook shot just yet. They have a Swamp Palace. We'll know if that is a pendant or crystal. Not that it matters. And the small key to Thieves Town, another one-off key. That only locks the big chest.
Yeah. In logic, it also locks the boss and the attic. So
that is
key
true.
logic would want you to have that. So that might just be an indication that, hey, you might want to do Thieves Town. Ricky having just the most annoying time with these torches here.
Now we did see the medallion for Turtle Rock. Looks to be Quake.
That, of course, being the actual medallion you're expected to use to open that in the original game, otherwise known as the Vanilla Medallion. Right, so Hookshot Cave turning out to be pretty tame here. Yep, nothing great.
And Ryu's making the walk over to GT. We'll see if he checks the sign.
Ryu also not interested in getting a fire shield, which would have been on the floating island.
Yeah. So PhantomRyu is going to read the sign, and it will tell us that it is 3 crystals to enter.
Oh,
that is
man.
very early.
But just think, if PhantomRyu had cleared out Thieves Town first or something, he could have actually gone in.
That is true, but we need the big key for Thieves Town in order to get halfway to even get out of the front.
And it's going to be in the dungeon.
That is awesome. I forgot about that.
But also the game expects you to come up here to get the small key, right? Because of that.
I suppose that's true as well, yes.
Logic.
Again, that worst case scenario key logic come into play. In which the game assumes that you'll use them in such a way. Alright,
the map of Turtle Rock found. I imagine our runners will be, less interested in, the crystal/pendant status of most of these dungeons, just because you got to clear them all anyway. The only ones you really care about are Eastern, which they already know about, and then the 5-6 crystals, which we know one of them was Skull Woods, and I don't have a clue what the other one was.
We have not found that information yet, and no one talked to the bomb shop vendor to get it. But this one we know is in the Dark World somewhere. PhantomRyu does have a couple more masks. Can check. Turtle Rock is another pendant. And I believe I actually just saw her lip there. Swamp was the red crystal.
Yeah, it looks like Swamp is our other 5-6. Misery Mire map just picked up for PhantomRyu, so he's going to look at it again. Pendant. There we go. So all pendants accounted for.
Yep.
Kind of feel like the Cane of Samari is going to be in GT now.
Could be. Could very well be with our seeds. Alright, will
All
GT open this early? You know what the ironic thing is? I'm looking at our items here, Dr. Bob.
Uh-huh.
We don't have access to the right side of GT with the compass chest room.
We do not.
But we can do the rest of the dungeon in its entirety.
Yep. Including the climb. So it's kind of gross. Kana Samari is on the after Moldorm chest. That is just the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life.
This also puts us in a strange situation because of something we like to do. We're going to do that. When we see someone make the call?
Maybe. So PhantomRyu finds a small key to Ice Palace, as well as Blue Mail, which absolutely guarantees that normal item pool.
That Buddy Sprite just got me so good.
I mean, to be fair, in an all-dungeon seed, the pedestal is just kind of like a formality. You're going to be able to pull it one way or the other.
Yeah, whether or not it has something important is actually fairly high in this mode. Because of all the small keys that are available. There could be a situation in which the seed logically expects you to pull the pedestal just because you need the small key there. It may not be necessary to do so, but again, the seed assumes worst case a scenario for usage of keys, so it could be logically required.
So RickyofKokiri just found a very nice item in a out-of-the-way location that a lot of people don't like to check. He found the Tempered Sword, or another sword upgrade, in the Graveyard Ledge, which is one of those locations. That's the technical term for it.
Yeah, definitely one of the mad locations in the seed. But hey, I wouldn't turn my nose up at Tempered Sword regardless.
So there's a possibility that PhantomRyu will not pick up that sword. I don't know. Depends on how thorough he's feeling at the time.
Well, considering he's already done everything in the South Loop, except with the exception of Smiths, could decide to check it before doing Smiths. Just a quick double back. You know, just a quick go there, check it, double back, do Smiths. And PhantomRyu being smart here, checking this chest first so we can go straight up and check with the maiden. And there's our first bottle! And that's actually in a good spot because Ryu can just mirror and check that immediately.
Yeah. It does feel like the sort of thing I would forget to do because I'm that guy. But
I should be clear though, mirror after doing the dungeon.
Right, of course. Do not mirror from in here. That would be a bad idea.
It may not be a bad idea, but it's definitely a time loss. Which, of course, is bad. And this is another tell, as you can hear here. The music.
Music means nothing in when the maps and compasses are shuffled.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. This would have been another tell if this was key sanity or not. If you haven't checked your maps, the music gets shuffled. So if you know this is a pendant in dungeon, but displaying the key, you can't basically. If you're trying to rely on audio keys to tell a map and compass, if this is map compass shuffle or something of that nature, you're not going to be able to. They scramble what dungeons play the pendant music, what dungeons play the crystal music.
This is actually the pendant music in a crystal dungeon, so there you go.
Anyway, moving on along. Henry's gonna check Sea House here.
That is actual vanilla.
That is actual vanilla. These Village Jackets is a couple of 300 ruby chests. I believe both of them are grabbed in the NMG run, yes? For Zora money?
I think that's one of the routes. One of them might do Hype Cave. Wait, no, it's all dungeon, or it's 100% that does Hype Cave. Because in 100%, what you do is you don't pick up the blue boomerang, and then the brewery chest down here has a red boomerang in it. But only if you don't have the blue boomerang. Otherwise, it's got 300 rupees. I don't know. Yeah. It's a thing. Anyway.
Looks like PhantomRyu did not, in fact, check Graveyard Ledge. Will not begin the Tempered Sword for at least for now. May do it later when running out of checks, just to see it. Or maybe waiting to have the boots to route it in with checking the Bonk Rocks and the King's Tomb.
Yeah, that is the sort of thing I would expect to see. Now, the other thing, though, is PhantomRyu actually has already done the southern village checks, like Dig Game and Stumpy and K45. So we may just be heading this way, gonna drop off the blacksmith, pick up the purple chest, and then take the purple chest to Graveyard Ledge. That's the sort of thing I might see.
I honestly don't think he'll do that. I think he'll just mirror him through 7 just immediately.
Alright, our blacksmith has a big 20. Good old counterfeit currency.
So considering he charges you 10 to get what essentially would effectively 10 back.
As you stated, the immediate mirror and flute to 7.
Combo bouncing around there. And just a compass to Misery Mire. I don't think we've been in a dungeon yet without its compass. Or with its compass yet, rather.
Yeah, with its compass. Speaking of Misery Mire,
alright.
PhantomRyu heading over to 6.
And we're gonna check what the medallion is. Clear as day, that is Bombos.
Yep. We are going to be lighting things on fire eventually. Calling it right now, Bombos is an ice palace.
I would have been past the seed, and it wouldn't be a bad thing for it to be in there, unless it was on Cold Stare. Checkerboard cave being checked now.
Alright, so PhantomRyu took care of the checkerboard cave. Is going to head into desert right now, which is potentially full clearable except for that torch.
Yeah, the torch has item that we need the boots for it. And as you can see, there is the counter for this dungeon. It's item checks. It's just a piece of art here, so we're safe from that at the very least.
And we can definitely get everything else in this dungeon because we have the small key, and the big key is going to be in here.
Starting off, we get a small key to Ice Palace. It brings up the 2, and I think that's all of them?
That is both of the Ice Palace small keys. Yeah.
I'll answer your question in chat. That you can save at any time in this game. It is as simple as pushing the select button.
So that does kind of take you out of where you are. You can save and quit. Of course, you can always also save every time you die. Which for me is often. Alright, PhantomRyu now going for the big chest of desert.
And it's another small key to Gan's Tower. That's all 4.
Wow. So, with all 4 small keys to Ganon's Tower, my brain is like, I'm going to GT now.
But we don't indicate Samari to full clear the dungeon.
I mean, my brain is just assuming it's in there at this point. It's in Rando Room. Because Rando Room requires all 4 small keys by logic. Unless the big key is in there. In which case, the 4th small key must also be in there. So...
Now, I believe Ricky has beaten the moth. Did you see that clear? Yeah, Ricky went to the moth first, so both our runners now have 3
he went to moth, he died.
He died on moth?
Yeah.
Yeah, he only has 2 crystals. So yeah. And at minimum we need 3, and we know we need 3 crystals, so Ricky does not currently have access to Gan's Tower. Also doesn't know it's 3 crystals. Has not been up there to check. Ryu, on the other hand, does know.
Alright. PhantomRyu gets the map of Ganon's Tower, which is entirely useless.
Yeah. Maps give us its crystal and pendant information, but Hyrule Castle map and Ganon's Tower map don't exactly do that, do they? Their compasses are... Well, the Ganon's Tower compass is probably the only useful dungeon in there, other than, of course, the most important one, the big key. And PhantomRyu is including to 1. There's nothing left for him up here. This is a GT call, so we have a game we'd like to play. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower, only one of which can be the boss key, and we know it's available because this is not boss key shuffle. Give us a number in chat, tell you where you think the big key is going to be. And keep in mind, we can't access all of the chests in the basement either.
I was gonna say, can we go to like 26? Well, no.
No,
right.
the
The
big
key can't be upstairs. What am I talking about? I'm an idiot. Hi! Hello, my name is Dr. Bob, and I am a dumb. I just wanted to have a lot more checks to check. Anyway.
I'm gonna throw ahead and throw my guess in here. I'm gonna say it's on... I'm gonna say it's 3. I'm gonna be on the torch.
Just gonna let it go for a bit, but... So I'm expecting, like... I'm expecting Kane in here. Maybe Quake as well. To give you access to Turtle Rock. but I'm
those of you just
expecting,
tuning
say,
in, folks, this is an all-dungeon seed. And it is a 3-crystal GT. So it's very likely that we have extra keys for the other remaining dungeons here in GT as we open the pyramid here on PhantomRyu.
all dungeons also definitely includes Ganon's Tower, so you do definitely have to beat Aga 2 here.
Correct. And we have to fight Aga 1 at some point as well. And the reason we call this all dungeons and not all bosses is because the ice armors downstairs are an optional boss if the big key's not behind them.
There's really nothing in the game telling you that you beat it. Like, there's no flag that gets set.
Alright, Hope Room, first 2 items, nothing of importance.
And PhantomRyu absolutely cannot proceed to Tile Room, even though so many of us love some Tile Room. Torch contains a map.
And at this
How
point,
is
we
that
have
thing
all
not
the
on
information.
fire? I don't know.
Well, the one thing I do know, we have all our information, so at this point, the maps are useless to PhantomRyu. I believe so, anyway.
That is correct.
Together. Salvage room, 4, 5, 6, and 7 here.
Boots!
The Cane of Savari, you were right, Dr. Bob.
Boom, Cane.
So we have full clear access now. Smoking to Turtle Rock. We can clear GT right here now.
The full clear of GT is a very, very real thing. I'm told that cane might be, like, required to exist.
Alright, chest number 8 now is the map chest here. Also known as double fire bar. 20 rubies within that. And this is RickyofKokiri's 3rd crystal right now. Little does he realize that opens up Ganon's Tower.
Alright, so PhantomRyu gonna head on to Rando Room and
There's number 9
other
is
places.
Compass. Now we might see him do extra checks. Actually, no, right that. We are definitely going to see him do extra checks here because small keys could be anywhere at this point.
Yeah, we could, if the big key is over here on the left, or say at Ice Armos, it would be a good idea, in my opinion, to go ahead and check the big chest.
Indeed. 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 being Ether.
The one medallion we don't need! Yay!
Exactly. It will help, though, on the climb a bit. But we have the Cane of Savari as well. But it does instantly kill Stalfos, which can speed up a couple of the fights for PhantomRyu in the Gauntlet, which will come up in a little bit. And here's Bob the Anti-Fury, not related to my co-com here, of course. And that's the bug catching net in Bob's chest.
Okay.
And here we go with the Ice Armors. Ricky is on the Death Mountain.
It looks like Ricky will be following PhantomRyu into Ganon's Tower after a check of Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave.
Vanilla Big Key. True
Actual vanilla Big Key. That's
vanilla
gonna be
arrows,
chest
I think,
number.
too.
Yeah, chest number 15, I believe, if the count comes out right.
It is. And Neristra was the winner of our Big Key guessing game. Congratulations to you. We're only an hour into the scene and we played that, by the way. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, because now we've got like a whole nother chunk of the seed to do. And PhantomRyu did check the big chest. It was just 10 arrows. We'll see if he decides to go right side. He's going to do it.
I mean...
Now, I would not be terribly surprised to find like 2 or 3 pod keys in here. Just because pod keys. Because pod keys is a reason for everything.
Indeed. Tank heart found by Ricky, I believe. Or is that a small piece of heart?
I believe it was a piece of heart. I don't remember there being anything like super exciting in Hookshot Cave.
Now PhantomRyu ending up doing what we call the tile room here. It is pretty much a 30-second auto-scroller while these tiles those spawn, and they are treated as enemies until until they all die. And so does the hand falling down the scene, the Wall Master. So if that's on screen, the chest won't spawn immediately.
Yeah. So this is why a lot of people will try to kill that very last tile before the hand drops. We get the Compass of Eastern Palace, which is not the world's greatest prize. But I mean, at this point, you're basically committing to full clearing GT here.
Yeah, and if that Compass small key shovel, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Especially when it's open this early. You don't know if there's progression leading to other dungeons. And in fact, in case Mario was in here, that opens up eventually Turtle Rock and Misery Mire.
Yeah. We're
Small
still
key to
missing.
swamp!
There we go, the swamp key. All day long.
That is a required small key, and if you're confused where that small key could have come from, the very first chest in the swamp got shuffled.
Alright.
PhantomRyu is noping out of the GT?
Interesting. I think... Okay, maybe not. I was thinking maybe I wanted to do something slightly different, but I mean, there is still that possibility that something important is on the top of GT. But with that swamp key, there's more checks here, and it really doesn't hurt you to leave GT at that point, as long as you don't mind coming back up the mountain at some point. And you're gonna have to come back up the mountain to do Turtle Rock, so I don't mind the play. And welcome to everybody coming from Speed Gaming 6. We have ourselves a all dungeons small key shuffle, map compass small key shuffle seed with 3 crystals to get into GT. So while you see RickyofKokiri inside Gen's tower, it's not even close to done.
No. And I actually see what PhantomRyu's endgame logic here is. He's thinking in the ideal scenario here, which is Turtle Rock, finish GT, Aga Tower.
The only way this could really backfire on him is if, say, the Quake Medallion is at the top of GT.
Or other required small keys that we still haven't picked up yet, because we still need a fair few small keys for Turtle Rock.
Yeah. By logic, you need 2 more, but you only really need 1 if you steal a key and skip the middle chest. Unless, of course, the big key is in that chest, in which case you definitely need all 4.
Now, here's another point to make, is PhantomRyu could have opted to elect to fight Aga 2 now, then return to fight Aga 1 as soon as possible, and then when Turtle Rocket's finished, can safe warp to the top of the pyramid, which is already open.
Yeah, the only downside with that, of course, like,
Because you lose the
I
refresh.
I would have considered doing that if I already had both Aga Tower keys, because then I'd just, do Aga right then. But instead, waiting around doesn't seem like the worst idea. I like it. It feels like a play that could go either way, but I think it's a good way to think about it, and it's more thought than I would have put into it. I would have just been like, oh, I'm gonna do the thing. But yeah, there's a lot of thought that you can go into this, and there is that pod key in Swamp. So it was kind of in GT.
Kind of, yeah.
PhantomRyu is going to go ahead and skip right side, or skip left side for now, in Swamp. I don't know if... Yeah, PhantomRyu clearly has not learned the diver down technique just yet.
That being a recent...
Or has decided not to use it.
So to explain diver down here, just as a brief overview, basically we can opt not to lower the water to affect water levels here in this room right here, and just leave the room as normal, as if we were walking down here in the lower section.
Turns out just a stock of explosives there, so not a huge loss.
Alright, RickyofKokiri approaching the swampy of Swamp. We'll see what Ricky decides to do here. Will Ricky stay down, or will Ricky go up to fight Aga 2?
Ricky acquiring the Swamp Key as well.
Moving on from here, gonna get the Swamp Key here. There's no other chest in the basement.
Yeah,
Or no, he hasn't opened up the big chest.
Did he not open the big chest?
He did. Never mind, his torch doesn't track until you get it, so I don't know what Ricky is doing here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we're gonna see a bit of a frustration display once we get through here. Another small key to Misery Mire on the boss of Swamp. That, again, the Swamp...
Oh no, he didn't open the chest.
Oh. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The Misery Mire keys are not necessary to beat the dungeon. By logic, they are necessary to get the 2 items on the left side of Mire, but no one actually cares about that logic.
Ricky's taking a death?
Yeah, that's just having low health. Don't want to have low health going up GT, especially when, I mean, he's got a bottle. I think.
Yeah, but it's filled with green potion.
Yeah, it's got
oh
green
no, wait,
potion.
skip the bottle!
Well, the bottle's not showing on either tracker, and I'm pretty sure one of them has it, so...
I know Ryu does. I want to say the bottle was in the Thieves Town. Oh! Ricky doesn't have the small key for Thieves Town.
Right, it was the Thieves Town big chest. Oh my goodness, you're right. You could have used a bomb or something. Or Kane. Alright, PhantomRyu finally flooding the left side of the swamp.
Meanwhile, dealing with the mimics. And is ascending Gen's tower here. We'll see if this ends up being the right play in the long term. But hey, another mountain climb stage is pretty nice.
PhantomRyu is just 1 rupee off the right count.
And there's the big key. So... yeah, that doesn't mean much in the accessibility, because for all we know, it could have been 100% locations.
It makes the likelihood of 100% locations slightly higher, but not guaranteed. And in fact, you could have an availability setting where it's 100% items or 100% inventory, and it just also happens to be 100% locations. So there's actually no guaranteed way to tell the difference.
Yeah. There's the 3rd shield. Even then, in most cases, it's usually going to be 100% inventory, but even then, it doesn't really matter because it's key sanity. Most of the things that accessibility difference makes is kind of moot.
Alright, looks like PhantomRyu is going to head over to Palace of Darkness area. I would not be surprised to see him mirror to Eastern first, because he knows he can clear that completely.
Alright, Kokiri through the gauntlet, now onto the fun fours. Because we get to do something like this.
Get wrecked, Wizrobes.
We'll see if Ricky can get the 2nd one. Not quite, the block was a little bit too far over to the right. But good cleanup.
So what I've always been told on that one is make sure you move up into place and then turn left and drop the block. Otherwise, you're really just not going to get there in time.
Yeah. Again, it's no big deal. It just saves you maybe 2 seconds, which can matter.
And it looks so good. That's all I'm saying. It looks so good when you get it right.
And it's so satisfying to pull off as well.
Okay, so RickyofKokiri now approaching the 4 chests on the way up. This is the difference here. We have a big 20, a full heart, which when I'm on 5 hearts with no recovery materials, I'm kind of okay with that.
Second bottle, and a small key to Turtle Rock. What's up, D at the top?
Ooh, 3rd key to T-Rock. That is interesting. If it turns out that the big key is vanilla in Turtle Rock, that could be a huge pain for PhantomRyu.
Another boulder crawl for Ricky. Oh, Boulder not playing nice.
PhantomRyu's in another one of those positions where a new glitch that was recently added could have helped there. Use the stair extension to get past those pegs without blowing the switch.
Oh, is that gonna land him on the spikes? No.
Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay.
Ricky can still very well die here. There's Bombos and Pod.
Okay. And with those 3 pod keys, that location is in logic with three pod keys. Whew! RickyofKokiri pulls off the fight.
Really needs a heart container here.
Get the chest here.
Map of Eastern.
That's dumb.
That is a good. That is the dumb. definitely gonna use the cane here.
Brian Strats for the win here.
Only has one heart left. Has to be extremely careful as he enters the Agatu fight.
Yeah, this is the hardest geometry class you've ever had.
You can't spin with this cane, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, you can still do some knockbacks, but you've got to do the actual hits. And this certainly isn't a bad idea.
No, he's playing it extremely safe. It's a double there. Almost out of magic, though. Waiting for good angles here. Taking his time with the hits. That was only a single hit because the shots overlap. Opting to dodge that one.
Definitely,
Ooh, have a
very
heart.
careful. Oh!
Gets it done on half a heart. Well executed by Ricky. That was a nail biter. And that is Agatu down, and it is not time to fight the pig folks, of course. We had early access to GT, and we still need to defeat Aga 1, and all the crystal dungeons, and all the pendant dungeons.
So, here's a question. If you're RickyofKokiri, are you tempted to go grab the second chest in Aga Tower?
I'd say quit immediately.
And it looks like he's going for the second chest in Aga Tower. Nope, he's getting out.
Going to the potion shop, very wise. Just gonna go in and get some help.
Oh, yes please. Get that heal.
Meanwhile, Helmut King being fought by PhantomRyu. Done all he can in here.
Yeah, interesting play, having not cleared, you know, everything out of this dungeon. I feel like Ice Palace has something we need.
I have inclined to agree. Now, one more routing line I can see someone taking here, in the case of Ricky. Ricky could opt to save Turtle Rock for the last dungeon.
Oh, was there a Quake Medallion in here as well?
We saw Bomba.
According to chat, there was a Quake.
Yep, there it is, Quake Medallion. So that opens up Misery Mire for full clearing.
Yeah, well, Quake was for Turtle Rock, I think. That's really interesting that PhantomRyu just electing not to clear Eastern here.
Yeah. So, one more line our runners can take is for Ricky can finish GT, or after finishing GT, when they go to finish their dungeons in Go mode, does Turtle Rock last, mirrors, flutes to 4, and then goes up Aga Tower. Which will put them right on the pyramid, with the hole right in front of them, and they will get a full heal as well out of them. So they'll be a top condition for Ganon.
It is all dungeons. The sign on the pyramid, though, says you need to defeat all of Ganon's bosses. That's how it is conveyed. So it is perhaps possible that PhantomRyu just doesn't know the correct interpretation of that sign. Oh, PhantomRyu is going to do the icebreaker clip, though.
Now, something PhantomRyu should have picked up on, though, is the pyramid was not open. So Ganon has to... So... Agatu must fall, regardless.
One thing I do like to do before I do the icebreaker clip, though, is actually go up to the room above and hit the switch.
Yeah, I
Though
believe that
with the big key and the small key, it doesn't actually matter here.
Yeah, I believe that prevents a soft locking scenario otherwise.
There we go. PhantomRyu pulls off icebreaker. And otherwise doesn't find anything on the right-hand side.
Heading over to the left side now, freeze our room. Misses look shot there. Oh, misses both attempts. For the big chest. Let's hope that does not come as a problem for PhantomRyu. Although I think he can just open this door, go downstairs, go upstairs, and the block reset. So it would be a minor time loss at worst, but he's just gonna go fight the boss, which I think means that they're okay with that he's okay with leaving the check behind. But do you is the question. I think it would be faster just to go back up the stairs instead of going back to the dungeon. Even with icebreaker.
Yeah, well, again, I'm kind of operating under the assumption that PhantomRyu doesn't quite know what that sign of all bosses means, so maybe he's just clearing this out, hoping to, say, find a tempered sword somewhere, and then gonna attempt to go to the boss, and he's gonna be like, what?
Well, that is another crystal for Ice Palace. That is actually PhantomRyu's 7th crystal. And we are going to see Diver down here on Ricky's head. And there we go.
Bit of a time save there.
Fluting away.
He's fluting to 4. He's going to go to the pyramid because he thinks he can beat it. I think that's what's happening here.
You thinking he misread the hint as saying, "Oh, just beat the boss and come fight me"?
Yeah, I think that's what he thinks it means. He could do Big Bomb while he's at it.
Yeah. And that's exactly what he's going to do.
So in terms of things we actually need to find to beat this seed, so we absolutely need the other castle tower key. That's one thing we need.
And he sees the pyramid's not open. And inside we find 20 rupees and the cape!
Did anybody go grab the key that was on the island in Kalia?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, looks like Ricky's about to do it right now.
Alright, where are you going? Dark Palace. PhantomRyu green thing, your blue potion.
Alright, so now I think that PhantomRyu is gonna go to Ganon's tower in an attempt to beat it. And he thinks that that's going to make it where he can win. But he's gonna go in and Ganon's gonna say, "You can't beat me until you've reached your goal." And if he doesn't notice that, he's gonna go to phase 4 and have a real hard time.
Well, in phase 4, they'll say, "Why are you still here? I cannot die," so... And that is the thing with, Ganon in Randomizer. We don't normally see it, but if you have not done your goal, and you can go up to the 3rd phase of Ganon, or the 4th phase of Ganon, but Ganon will be completely invincible.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do know what the big chest of Ganon's tower already is. It is, in fact, it was just 10 arrows. The 3rd sword that RickyofKokiri found was at the Graveyard Ledge, which is again, a place that I don't expect PhantomRyu to really go out of his way to check.
You know what our runners haven't checked yet, though? Is the block runners in the King's team either. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So the thing is, I don't think PhantomRyu forgot the sign. I think he just misinterpreted the sign. I think he thinks it means all crystals, and when it actually means all dungeons. Ricky is attempting the icebreaker clip. So the finicky thing about the icebreaker clip is it requires you to hit left for exactly 1 frame. Oh, I think he had it at one point.
Yeah, you tap left and then you hold up or down, I think.
Correct. It's actually kind of reminiscent of the screen wrap from Zelda 1, if that makes any sense.
And I am familiar with that trick.
Basically, you get on the 5th pixel from the end, you hit 1 pixel up, and then you hold left or right or something. You go the other direction.
Those are commonly used in Zelda 1 to skip diamond staircases.
That and to like jump across entire overworld screens.
So yeah, if you're familiar with that, then it should be fairly simple for you.
Alright, so Ricky having just a little trouble here. Might decide to do this the old-fashioned way. There's nothing wrong with that. That's one of the things that you gotta learn as a player is when you know the glitch, you do the glitch. If you're having trouble with the glitch, just do it the normal way so you don't waste a ton of time.
Yeah, because after two attempts, both which failed, doesn't have, or basically lost any sort of time gain he could have had.
Oof. PhantomRyu getting a little bit bodied here. He's a little low on health. He does have a potion that he went and bought, but I'm still a little concerned. Wizard's dropping the literal, actual bomb, like, explosives armory there.
Alright. PhantomRyu onto the final floor.
Now, I do expect PhantomRyu to go ahead and check the chests here, just because even if he thinks he's actually go-moding, he would want a better sword. So
Yeah.
he's going to check these sword chests, so luckily he will receive that Turtle Rock key in case it's necessary. So it's not going to be a complete loss. But yeah, he's going to be not happy, I think, coming up.
I would have put him past him.
Ooh, barely getting knocked off by Moldorm. Good recovery.
Boom, headshot.
And doing very well here in the Moldorm team fight. Down he goes. And up Ryu
Right.
goes to fight Aga 2.
So Ricky in Ice Palace again. We will get to see what sort of items we find here. He's going to be heading down.
Checking Ice Tea Room. Which I believe Ryu skipped.
That is correct. We skipped Ice Tea Room, also skipped the big chest, though not on purpose.
Oh no!
Ice Rod in Ice Palace. I knew there was something in Ice Palace.
That is a huge find for Ricky. Aga 2 is down for PhantomRyu, but he too has not met his goal yet. He will find out soon enough that it in fact also requires the pendants to be cleared as well as Aga 1.
Oof. I was afraid of that. Ricky did not manage the bomb jump to get back across to the Freezor chest. And
the
butter.
sword was missed.
Oh my goodness.
And he read the text. He knows.
I'm not sure he did. Oh, yep. Dingus mode activated. You go read that sign again. He's like, wait a minute. Or maybe not.
As a reminder for those just tuning in, this is an all dungeon seed. PhantomRyu needs to collect all 7 crystals, defeat all 3 pendant bosses, and fight Aghanim's 1 and 2.
Alright, Ricky pulls off a bomb jump this time. For those of you who want to learn that particular bomb jump, it is actually free. You just face right, wedge yourself in the top right corner, and drop the bomb.
Admire PhantomRyu goes. We are an Aga Tower small key from no mode. Depends on who finds it first.
And then there is the off chance that we need the 4th Turtle Rock key. Depends on where the big key is in Turtle Rock.
Correct. Now here's the thing. Something we should mention here. That small key for Aga Tower can literally be anywhere in the sea.
It can
Literally
even be
anywhere.
vanilla, which would be the worst.
We've already found one. It could be in its vanilla chest. It could be on pedestal. It could be in Turtle Rock. We don't know. It's literally anywhere as an option right now. Could even be locked behind the book.
Ricky checked the first chest in Aga Tower. I'm not convinced he checked the second.
He did not, because I believe he did not have the Aga Tower small key to begin when he went up there the first time. He did Back of Escape second to last before he entered Darkhold.
Apparently he did.
Oh, he did?
I guess I wasn't
going.
watching at the time.
Apparently, me either, because I only saw him going once.
Fair enough. Alright, so Ricky will now be heading over to Palace of Darkness. We know that there are 2 medallions in here. And guessing by the fact that PhantomRyu still had like 8 or 9 items checked out of 14, I'm guessing that the Quake medallion was also in Logic.
Just saying we missed what was a compass found in the second chest of Aga Tower. I'm inclined to trust chat here. They are...
Fair enough.
Chad has many more eyes than we do up here in the booth, I'll admit. Sometimes 2 sets of them are not enough.
There's the big key for Meyer.
And I think that big key is locked behind all 3 smalls in Mr. Meyer, yes? Based on its location?
Yes, that is correct. That one of those, and there's the other small key. So there you go. Wow. Okay. Okay, game.
Well played.
Reasonably certain it's 3 keys to get the Bombos medallion there in Logic, but that's neither here nor there.
I love it when you just jump on that invisible ledge there in Palace of Darkness.
Oh, Logic totally counts that key in the back of Meyer. It's just that it is possible to use all of the keys without opening that door on the left. So that's why you require the remaining small keys.
Yeah, there is a scenario in which you can use all your keys here. I said it once during this cast, I'll say it again. Key logic always assumes you used your keys in the worst way possible.
For those of you who don't know, there are actually two. Oh yeah, there's the quick medallion. So yeah, they're both definitely in logic. Those of you who don't know, there are actually two rooms with rupees, blue rooms with rupees in Mire. There's that one that's above the switch that you're in, and there's one off on the right side of the room where you drop the block, and it's locked by a small key.
And no one in their right mind would go there, but assuming you unlock the door, because you don't know the layout of the dungeon, could accidentally waste the key there, and that's why the key lock is in place. We count for scenarios like that for more casual runners of this.
The only time I've ever seen that done is in a bingo scene where one of the goals was go to the blue rupee rooms, or some number of them.
Alright, that is a pendant for Ryu. Still needs 2 more, and to find the Castle Tower small key. But he's left behind the ice rod in Turtle Rock, and that is a hugely important find.
Alright, PhantomRyu floating away. See where he decides to go. He is floating to 5.
Going to pause.
He's going to do Eastern Palace,
This
which
thing
he
is...
hasn't done.
Overrunners are fairly healthy. 15 blue for PhantomRyu, 16 blue mail for RickyofKokiri. It's kind of hard to tell on the Phoenix Wright sprite, but that is his blue mail sprite.
And just like PhantomRyu, Ricky is going to go ahead and clear out and beat Palace of Darkness here. Yeah, that Castle Tower small key could definitely be on the pedestal. I mean, it is... They're going to have to do those 3 dungeons anyway, but you know what? It would be a interesting way to make this race quite competitive, I would. Interestingly enough, PhantomRyu going ahead and skipping the big key chest here in Eastern, and also skip the map chest, to be fair.
Probably thinking the ice rod's in Turtle Rock. Down goes Homestar King. But can you miss it? There go the Armos Knights for PhantomRyu. Crystal number 6 for Ricky. PhantomRyu's second pendant. All that's left for Ricky to do is Skull Woods. And I believe he has not been in Mr. Mario either.
Alright, PhantomRyu gonna go get the piece of heart from Sazerala. They absolutely do have to defeat Aghanim 1. Yes.
Yeah, so Aga was not required this seed for any sort of the usual factors that would be in a otherwise normal race. But he's required in this seed because we need him to access Starfall. Or, not access Starfall, to access Ganon. Or rather make Ganon vulnerable.
PhantomRyu is in the southeast here, picking up the small key.
The Dark Palace, which does give him 4, which should be enough to get him all the remaining items, I think. Ricky is saluting the Sanctuary. This may be Bonkrok's King's Tomb from Ricky before heading over to the mall. And indeed it is. What is here? Small key to Dark Palace, that's number 5. So boots were required for Dark Palace, which means GT was required to be entered before Dark Palace.
That is absolutely correct. Okay, so King's Tomb still live here. The Castle Tower key could definitely be in Turtle Rock, which is where PhantomRyu is headed. A red boomerang, that being the first boomerang we've found this entire seed.
Yeah, red boomerang, not that helpful. It does help with the few tricks that we didn't get to see, but they're collectively known as splash deletion. But we had the flavors relatively early on, so there was no point in doing it. You're entering Misery Mire now. PhantomRyu entering Turtle Rock. This is his last dungeon, but still needs to find the ice rod to clear it. And that is all the way in ice. Fairly deep in ice too, being the iced tea room. Immediate big key. Now, did PhantomRyu full clear from Misery Mire, or did he just after finding the boss key?
I don't. I don't think he actually went to the big key chest.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Small key. The Skull Woods. Another small key. The Skull Woods.
Okay, look at that. The 3 Skullwood small keys all on the screen roughly at the same time. Congratulations, now you know where they are.
Oh, man.
So,
That's pretty good.
Interestingly enough, theoretically, for key logic, those were all required for the Skullwood small key. Which means, or for the Skullwood's crystal, that is. Which means that the 3 crystals this game wanted you to have to get into GT, I believe, were Tower of Hera, Thieves Town, and Desert.
Which, that rings true. Yeah. And I believe that was, in fact, the 3 crystals.
Ice would have also been in logic.
That's true as well. Alright. He is checking this the cutscene chest. Not leaving any stone unturned here. Just needs the castle tower small to be in go mode.
Interestingly enough, PhantomRyu went ahead and checked the big key chest of Turtle Rock. So he's going to need to find the 4th Turtle Rock key to finish this dungeon.
Probably was hoping that the asteroid was there.
Yeah, that's what you had to think there. It could definitely be there.
Now, Trinex cannot have his own 4th small key, yes?
He absolutely cannot.
So it's still out there somewhere for PhantomRyu to find. He's not going to be locked out of this dungeon. Because that would be a soft lag we would have to report because, yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Looks like there was nothing in note in Misery Mire. Alright, Mimikey, what do you got for us? The magic powder. Which opens up Magic Bat.
Oh boy. Oh, imagine if we'd have seen some fake powder shenanigans at some point this seed.
And the shovel has been found as well.
Again with the fetch quest situation.
I mean, you can easily check the shovel and the bat in one trip.
Not that much out of your way. Alright, 5 more chests left here for PhantomRyu. 4 of which are on the laser bridge, of course. And in here we have 20 rupees. And so all the way, Ryu found the other boomerang.
Yeah, it was in the ice, or it was in the vanilla big key chest there for Pod. I mean, not Pod, for Turtle Rock.
You're having a little bit of trouble with the elevator, or the transporter. Gonna opt to read there, and here comes Vinny. Missing a couple shots here. I think there will be a lightning cycle. There it is. And a second one because of how fast the eyeball shoots. 2 silver arrows, and that's all she wrote for Vinny. Alright, laser bridge, as we get the second pendant for Ricky. First chest is a compass to Skull Woods. Small key to this
Turtle Rock.
dungeon!
Yeah, you could tell by the color.
Ryu got bailed out there. Last chest is 10 bombs. But there's no ice rod in here. And that also means the Castle Tower small key could be anywhere else.
Not sure what PhantomRyu intends to do here.
Oh, Sick It hasn't been checked yet. 20 rupees. And I don't see what PhantomRyu is doing either. He doesn't have the fire rod. He's gonna ice rod. He's gonna see it right here, unless we missed it. Nope, doesn't have it.
Oh no. Oh no.
He's
The
not happy.
frustration slashes are real. I can imagine the scotch is coming out right now, just like.
I wouldn't know. I don't drink.
I just know that's one of PhantomRyu's things.
Alright, so we've checked all of the dungeons, I think. So it's gotta be an overworld spot where our small key for Castle Tower is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've basically checked most of it at this point. Unfortunately, PhantomRyu is likely to go ahead and check most of those overworld checks before finding the ice rod.
That is also true. And unfortunate. Ricky using bombos to great effect here, getting rid of the Gyptos. They gave him so much trouble before.
The good news for PhantomRyu is he appears to be heading to the King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks, etc. area. So he will at least get the Tempered Sword.
Yeah, King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks, Graveyard Ledge. Possibly even Catfish as well. Because I don't think we've seen a Catfish play either.
No, both runners have done Catfish.
Okay. That's the 5th small key deposit, so Ryu now knows that all the items in there are available. Moth is down. Money from the Moth, and that is the last crystal for RickyofKokiri. His goal is not yet met, though. He needs to beat Turtle Rock and find the small key for Aga Tower to finish the seed. Because both versions of Aghanim must be defeated in all dungeons.
Alright, PhantomRyu goes to grab the other boomerang from little King's Tomb. Ricky grabs another pod key. There's still quite a few little locations in Palace of Darkness that neither runner has checked as well. Speaking of Palace of Darkness, it looks like Ricky is going to head that direction. I haven't the foggiest why he's not going to Turtle Rock, but who knows?
Alright, time for the shovel check.
Alright, where does PhantomRyu go after this? He's heading to 4.
Checking Aga Tower
Oh, it
finally.
looks like, yeah, he's going to go for the Aga Tower checks.
Meanwhile, Ricky is gonna go check the last chest of Palace of Darkness. Blue potion for Ricky.
It was the Ganon's Tower compass even, so like super pointless.
Yeah.
Alright, PhantomRyu also gonna head to Pod next, which is a reasonable play.
And on this chest we have small key. Castle
There
Tower!
it is!
RickyofKokiri is now officially in Goma at 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 48 seconds.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't completely know that because of the Turtle Rock key situation, but he's gonna head to Turtle Rock now, I imagine.
Well, even then, he doesn't need to open the small... He'll know the big key's in the medium. So...
Yeah, so as soon as he finds the big key, then he'll know he's in Goma. That's what I'm saying.
I think he's pretty safely in go mode in terms of his mindset because
Yeah.
I think the only
He
check
certainly
he had
played
left
that way.
was that last chest in the fall down before he found the castle tower.
Kind of interesting that that wasn't already checked, because that is in logic with one key.
I mean, the runners both skip checking that.
That's very interesting.
PhantomRyu now with the small key. Does not have the ice sword though. And in this chest was 3 bombs. So yeah. If Ricky was not... Ricky's definitely in go mode. There was nothing that could have led him astray.
Talking about the fall down basement chest that's in logic with one key. The rest of them, yeah. That particular chest that PhantomRyu just got that one key in, yeah, that one is definitely something you can isolate.
You know what? Actually, I just realized something. We have currently, just for lulz here, we have a 50-50 shot of it being a paradox seed, I think. Because I think we're only down to 2 locations where the book could be. Trinex and the pedestal.
Oh yeah, that chest is in logic with 0 keys if you have the bow. That is right. And the hammer. Yeah. Color me, or I stand corrected. That's what I meant to say. Looks like Ricky found the big key in one place exactly.
So, I think once we see Trinex's defeat, if we don't see the book here, I think it has to be on the pedestal.
That's kind of gross.
It's kind of gross and also kind of hilarious. And I think, based on our keys... Yeah, I think it's whatever we haven't picked up on... If it's not book on Trinex, then it's book on pedestal. And then there's just 2 junk items on the tablets. We still have the red mail, of course, in the pool somewhere, but yeah, we pretty much hundoed this seed. This is gonna be a high item clear rate. If it isn't 200 plus, it is very close. So yeah, we're missing one pod key, the red mail, and the book.
Yeah, and unfortunately for PhantomRyu, when you're going into... When the one item you're looking for is in the Ice Tea chest, no one likes going back into Ice Palace. It's just the worst.
So yeah, it's one... So yeah, it's the pod key, the red mail, the book, and one other item. Which, for all we care about, it could just be like 20 rupees. It's the most common item left.
Looks like Ricky is headed for Trinex now.
The bunny sprite for RickyofKokiri is the Blue Badger mascot from the series. That the sprite is based from Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Definitely a good game if you like logic puzzles and sort of like dramatic storytelling.
I'm told logic doesn't really play into the cases of Phoenix Wright. Not kidding. Anyway, moving right along. Ricky gonna head to the boss. It is kind of hilarious that Ricky is playing as Phoenix Wright while PhantomRyu is actually a lawyer.
Alright, time to see what Trinex has. I'm gonna say it's a 50-50 shot of whether this is one of our missing 3 items and the book. And then we have a pretty clear idea what's around. And we know it's not a shield because the shield is known to us. No one decided to get the shield on Floating Island.
Book definitely would not be required.
No. But we only have 4 item locations left in the game that we don't know.
And 2 of them require the book? Yeah.
And the other 2, one of which is here on Trinex, and the other one is Pedestal. So there's the red mail, which means books on Ped. Small key for pod is on one of the tablets, and on the other tablet is a junk item, possibly a bottle or 4th bottle. I wasn't keeping track of how many we found total.
Lava chest was checked. PhantomRyu checked it. It was the blue boomerang.
And the 2 chests on the right side were that are fire unlocked for both small keys and Skull Woods. And Ricky is heading straight up to Agate Tower to finish the seed off.
Lumberjack, I believe, was just a blue rupee. Saw that very early.
Yes.
I may have to do what your username says there in chat.
That is actually a pretty good chat fun, I'm not gonna lie.
PhantomRyu is busting out bugnet strats, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, taking care of Gagga Tower right now. I suppose it's a little late to mention, but we do have a secondary game to play, in which we guess how many blue balls Agate has. But we are here in the middle of the fight, so there's no real point in playing it. I actually completely missed the fact that Ryu was climbing Agate Tower.
Yep, I mean, he figures he's got to do it.
And just stood there and took the lightning like a champ.
I mean, when you got 17 hearts, you want to put them to good use somehow, right?
I suppose that's true. But that's Agate Tower done for PhantomRyu. His goal is not yet met either. Still needs to find that ice rod, which, unfortunately for him, he left it behind in Ice Palace.
Alright, so where's PhantomRyu headed? It's moving to 3. I guess he didn't actually go to Lumberjack early on.
Probably thinks this is
We'll
ice
get to
rod.
see if I remembered it correctly.
And he's just gonna blind pull it.
Blue Rupee it is, and PhantomRyu now heading outward.
At this point, he knows. I think he's left everything else except for ice on the table.
He is fluting to 8, so he might pick up the ice rod before before his opponent finishes here.
And that's Agate down for RickyofKokiri. All of the bosses are defeated. The goal has been met. It is time to fight the pig. It's going to be 6 slashes for the first 2 phases here. This will advance again into his ground stomp phase. This is where we need to be a little bit careful. We'll try to hit him before he gets a chance to act. PhantomRyu attempting Icebreaker again. Probably the fastest way to get down to Ice Tea Room. On to phase 4. Keep the torches lit. Stun again with the sword, and let loose 4 silver arrows to win the day.
Looks like we're having a bit of a stream issue here on Ricky's side, but
Well, I can say based on PhantomRyu's time that RickyofKokiri has now officially finished the race for the first time.
there we go.
Yeah, getting a resync here. So there's the crossing, and that's official 2 hours, 22 minutes, 12 seconds for RickyofKokiri. GG's. Thanks to him.
And we'll see what PhantomRyu does here. He may decide to, once he finishes this, but it sounds like we've been joined by our winner.
One moment, I can't hear you. My Discord's being weird again.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, hello?
Hello.
Ricky, hello.
Hi!
Congratulations and GG on your win here.
Thank you.
This was pretty much a full clear seed, and how do we know this? We were able to figure out what was on pedestal by process of elimination.
Yeah.
And what was on the tablets by process of elimination. And there we go. Ryu has found his ice rod and has officially forfeited from the race.
Sorry about that glitch with during the Ganon fight. Apparently, when I ended my stream but kept the delay going, it froze for a minute. So I won't do that again.
Just wondering what
Oh my
happened
goodness. So yeah, so I go to Tower of Hera, get the hammer, go to Paradox Cave, get the Hera small key. I'm like, at that moment I knew this was going to be a troll seed. Like, this was going to suck.
And we are now joined by PhantomRyu. Good effort on your part. Well played as well.
You know, it helps when you actually read and understand what a sign says. I thought it was a 7 out of 7, not an all dungeons, which is why I ended up skipping those chests in Ice Palace.
If it was a crystal goal, it would have said specifically how many crystals would have made Ganon invulnerable.
Yeah, no, I found that out the hard way.
Yeah, we were told that you didn't have a whole ton of experience with mystery seeds, so
No.
it was a little unfortunate, but we figured you might have had some issues with the interpreting that sign correctly.
Yeah, I had a feeling I was pretty well in the beginning, but then misreading the sign was problematic.
Yeah. And, well, at least the book didn't to mess you up, because based on what we saw, there was only 3 locations left.
Yeah.
Ether Tablet, the Bombos Tablet, and Pedestal.
Yep.
Right.
And the book did not show up at all until that point, so book's most likely on Ped. Small key to Pod is on one of the tablets, and then a junk item's on the third one, probably the 4th bottle. I'm not sure. We saw all 4.
Speaking of Pod, I really need to learn Hammer Yump.
That would have saved.
Yeah, that would
time,
have saved. Yeah.
Instead of having to go through the Bolock section like 3 or 4 different times to avoid using that front door key.
Same.
So yeah, all dungeons, map compass, small key shovel, and yep, there it is. The book was on pedestal for us here up chat. We successfully deduced that one.
We did have someone call Paradox Pad earlier, but they also expected the Castle Tower key to be on a tablet, so we can't give them that one really.
And that second Castle Tower small that both of you found relatively close to each other was in fact the go mode item, the seed. The real trip up was, of course, the ice rod.
Yeah.
It's always the ice rod.
Yeah, though that was also obnoxious. I messed up the bomb jump with the iced tea room, but that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I swear I can do
like
Icebreaker in practice and in casual races, but when I'm on Restream, for some reason, I just lose my ability to push left down in the right timing. I don't get what's going on.
Yeah, the second time I tried Icebreaker, it was kind of embarrassing. The first time I got it after like 2 tries, but well, I got it first try after I remembered you needed to press left, not down.
Right.
And unfortunately for you, PhantomRyu, that sword would have definitely helped you clear the boss a little bit faster in the big chest.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. Like, I thought I was in go mode, and I went to check. I was like, wait a minute, is this fast Ganon? And so I grabbed the That's why I grabbed the bomb, because I'm like, man, if this is fast cannon, please let there be a sword at Pyramid Ferry.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if it was fast cannon, I believe because we didn't have entrance shovel, the pyramid would have been open from the start.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
so PhantomRyu, I have to make you mad again. You ready?
Was that?
The other sword was in the Ice Pal's big chest.
I believe he
Oh, I
did
know, I
pick
got
that
it.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
icy chest was his very last location.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you had difficulties getting it out in the first pass, too.
Yeah, just I would 100% deserved to lose that race because I didn't read the sign correctly.
Yeah, it's tricky. It is definitely tricky. But if the goal is not anything relating to the crystals, it'll not specifically state a crystal amount on it. So you did get tripped up there, but hey, at least you now know for next time, which
Yeah.
thankfully was not going to be the case here. Or your teammate, though, will definitely use that information in the next one because you two have your second race is with your teams
Is tonight.
coming up. Yeah, tonight and Speed Gaming 6 at 9.
Yep.
If I can get the schedule
just-
here real quick.
I can handle getting beat, but when you beat yourself, that just
Yeah. It's one thing to get randoed by the seed. It's another thing when it was something you skipped.
yeah,
Had that happen to
100%.
me 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. This boat tripped you up, and to be fair, Mystery does trip up a lot of people because you can't expect anything in this seed. That's the nature of it.
Yeah, I was so happy when it was all Dungeons Key Sanity.
Yeah, no kidding. Like I was dreading like inverted or entrance or something like that. I probably would have just said nope as soon as I found out if it was entrance. But
Well, even if it was inverted, it was still inverted with the short swords, which isn't that bad because at least you have a weapon.
This is true.
no, that was nice to start off with a sword.
Yeah, and no enemy shovel, no boss shovel to worry about either. So you knew what you were getting yourself into with the dungeon. It just turns out you need to fight all the bosses.
Yeah, it worked out really nicely for me because especially like if it was a pedestal seed, I game myself too much. It's just okay, what can I skip? What can I not skip? All dungeons, key sanity, you're checking everything.
Right.
Yeah, and it wasn't even full. It wasn't even full key sanity too. It's just map compasses and the smalls. The big keys stayed in their dungeons.
Yeah, I
Yes.
noticed that earlier. I was like, wait a minute, are all the big keys in their dungeons? And then it just kept. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
you could
we
tell
kinda-
that because there was no spot on the menu to show you where the big keys were.
I was wondering about that.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a very important question for Ricky.
Yes.
Not actually that important, but I want to know which of the Guardians of the Galaxy brain are you?
No, not sure. I'd have to think about that.
That's a fair answer. Well, GG's to you, RickyofKokiri, and
Yeah.
good effort as well. Once again, and PhantomRyu. Once
Yeah,
again,
absolutely. GG's, Ricky. Good job.
Thank you. And GG's to you too. Sorry about the ice rod.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
man. Just full tilt. Full tilt.
if you're rooting for either one of these two teams here, keep in mind they have another match for us once again. That is going to be on Speed Gaming 6 at 9 o'clock. It will be Ohado representing Guardians of the Galaxy Brain versus Killer App representing Team Spaceballs, the rando team. And coming up for you in the near future here, they're currently in progress. We do have a seat over on the ALTTPR League 2. That is our set of channels for this thing. But coming up at 8 o'clock, we have Team Third Strongest Mole versus Team Pug Trio, West Side Battle versus Futon. And then coming up at 9 o'clock, alongside Ohado versus Killer App, we on Speed Gaming 5, here on Speed Gaming 5, in fact, we have SW, I believe it's Skullwood's Big Skip, featuring represented by Cascado versus Team Tile Roomies, who's represented by Hazu Kitty. And then join us on Speed Gaming 2 for 2 Pearl, 2 Furious, represented by Scary Olive, versus the Immortals, those Duke represented by Duke Firebird. And of course, make sure to follow our team runners here. More importantly, they put on an excellent race for us tonight. And make sure to follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6 so you don't miss any racing action, not just the Link to Past Randomizer League. And if, like I said earlier, we have the ALTTPR League 2 having a match going on in progress right now. Make sure to follow the ALTTPR League and the ALTTPR League 2 through 4 as well. That is the ALTTPR League as the Twitch name. And of course, make sure to follow my co-counter, Dr. Botastic. Always a pleasure working with you, sir. And make sure to also follow our tracker, iBot, as well.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. Anything else our runners would like to say before we wrap it up?
No, thank you for watching. Thank you for the race, PhantomRyu. Have a great day, everybody.
Quite welcome, Ricky. GG's again, and that's about all I have to say.
So that's about
Get
going
the
to do.
scotch out.
Right.
Pretty much. So that's going to do it for us here. So from all of us here at the Link to Past Randomizer League, I have been Wolfling0370. We'll see you all next time. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the race.